can if you want.
Microphone.
I got it.
Good morning, everyone. Let's start with the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag prayer for today. Father God, your word promises that you will guide me if I seek you. Show me how to order my time and arrange my schedule to accomplish your will. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning.
Today I will go over the financials that were approved on June 18th. I approved encumbrances, a travel encumbrance from the Common Pleas Court to attend the Supreme Court of Ohio, Judicial College Mental Health and Crisis Intervention for probation officers, continuing education course. I also approved 4 vouchers. The first one for $572,668.05 from the Commissioner's Office to Infinity Construction Company for pay request number 20 of the courthouse expansion project. The second was for $629,339.25 from the Engineer's Office to Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Leggett and Clay roads. The third one was for $46,640 from maintenance to Geauga Mechanical Company Incorporated for a boiler replacement at the West Geauga Senior Center. And the last one was for $55,164 from the Sheriff to Motorola Solutions Incorporated for 800 megahertz trunk radio upgrades. And that's all.
So that was item 1 and 2.
Nope. In terms of the other items approved on June 23rd, for community and economic development, I approved and executed for a satisfaction release of mortgage for Opportunities Gateway LLC, Xscape Designs LLC, as the mortgage from December 22nd, 2015 for a revolving loan fund in the amount of $250,000 has been satisfied. I also approved a satisfaction release of mortgage for Matthew T. Johnson and Megan M. Johnson as the mortgage from December 18th, 2008 for down payment assistance in the amount of $7,900 has been satisfied. And thirdly, a satisfaction release of mortgage for Matthew T. Johnson and Megan M. Johnson as the mortgage from November 5th, 2009 for housing rehabilitation for lead remediation in the amount of $24,063 has been satisfied. For Job and Family Services, I acknowledge the following new hire appointment as the Executive Director of Job and Family Services, complied with the Board of Commissioners recruitment and hiring procedures for Cameron Lutz, Social Services Worker 1 replacement, effective May 27, 2025. And finally, for maintenance, I approved hiring Jason Emming to the position of Maintenance Worker number 1904 to be effective July 7th, 2025 at the rate of $19.86 per hour, grade 6, step 5, with a 1-year probationary period. This offer of employment is contingent upon the successful completion of the required pre-employment conditions. That's all.
Thank you. Item number 3, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes of the meeting of May 13th, 2025.
They include my red lines, Christy. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Commissioner Brinkley.
Aye.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes. Good morning.
Good morning. Adrian Gordon with the Commissioner's Office, covering today's financials, which include a then and now encumbrance from the Commissioners to Sedgwick Claims Management Services Incorporated for the first contract payment from May and June 2025 that was not previously encumbered. There's also a travel encumbrance from the Engineer's Office to attend the TPC Boiler Operation Maintenance and Safety Training course. And amongst the vouchers is $61,161 from the Clerk of Courts and Common Pleas Court to Courtview Justice Solutions for service and support of their courtroom management software. $135,121.88 from the engineer's office to Roniak Paving Incorporated for the asphalt resurfacing of Auburn Road sections R through U. And $50,000 from maintenance office to the U.S. Postal Service Quadient POC for additional postage for the mailing machine.
So Sedgwick Claim Management, did they handle our insurance claims? Is that how that works?
Yeah, they help manage the insurance claims and the BWC claims.
Okay,
Workers'
got it.
comp, yeah. So unfortunately, it took a little while for us to get the contract through the whole process. And there was about a month and a half at the beginning there that weren't covered under an encumbrance. So.
Got it. I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
Second?
Commissioner Beckman?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Morning.
Good morning.
So the adult probation is requesting the,
Please
oh, I'm sorry.
State your name and,
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's your
Debbie
problem?
Dudak from Common Pleas Court Probation Department.
thank you.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Getting a little nervous. I'm just pushing it along. So
Calm
the
down.
adult probation is requesting the board's approval and execute a memorandum of understanding between the Geauga County Board of Commissioners, the Geauga County Court of Common Pleas, and the Geauga County Sheriff's Office, approving the submission of the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correctional Bureau of Community Sanctions, BCS. Targeted Community Alternative to Prison, which is the TCAP, grant, documentation, the roles of the responsibilities of compliance requirements of the grant, pursuant to ORC 5149.38 for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027, which will be the fiscal year 26-27.
Can you talk a little about the grant and the program, how we're going to use it?
We're asking for the board to execute and approve the memorandum MOU for the TCAP grant.
Right, yeah. Could you explain the grant, like talk to that so the
Sure.
folks at home understand what it is?
So it is, the purpose of the grant is to provide funds to the local communities to effectively suspend and provide treatment services and hold accountable low-level non-violent offenders in the community, which keeps them out of prison. And we have different programs like Thinking for a Change, Seeking Safety, Climb, and Sober Living. Soon to be, we're going to have GED testing also.
Okay, great. Any questions, Mr. DeLorean?
No.
So I'll make a motion to approve item number 5.
Second?
Commissioner Beckman?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Thank you. Have a good day.
Good. Morning, Shane.
Good morning. Shane Hajar with the Engineer's Office, here to present item number 6. County Engineer's Office is requesting the board approve and execute change order number 1, increasing the contract with Miller Builders LLC for the construction of the salt storage building to meet snow load requirements by the county building department in the amount of $14,800.64.
So you could talk about why this wasn't anticipated when it was
So, yeah, we used a comparable design to our existing salt structure that's on site. And then after it went through the building department, which ended up being after the plans were out to bid, they determined that the snow load requirements needed an extra truss member for the roof.
Okay.
So it was, we thought we had met the requirements and we found out otherwise.
Government getting in the way of government, huh?
We're watching each other's back, that's all.
Okay, all right, I like that. I like that positive spin. I'll make a motion to approve item number 6.
Second?
Commissioner Brinkley?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
In last winter, thing collapsed, the dome collapsed in
Oh.
Concord.
Salt dome
Yes.
collapse. Interesting.
So it's interesting that you have to add
Yeah,
a truss.
we don't want that to happen.
No,
All right, thank you.
thanks.
Thank you. Have a good day.
I am Cindy K. Cox-Wellman. I am the program director for the Geauga County Prosecutor Victim Witness Program. And we would like to apply for a grant that it's provided by the Department of Justice that gives money to the states. So we would be applying to the Ohio Attorney General for these funds. It's the same amount as last year. We were not given an opportunity to ask for more, or else we would have. And then Jim Flays' office, as the prosecutor, provides the balance of the fund for the program, the funding for the program. My program, we are in charge of notifying victims of their Marsy's Law rights, which is the Ohio constitutional amendment that allows for certain rights to be given to victims, the right to be kept informed of the trial process, court dates, even down to little things like we have to let them know who the defense attorney is, and they may try to contact you and you don't have to talk to them, but they may try to talk to you. We just try to keep victims as up to date on their cases and emotionally supported as we can throughout the process. So we are in charge of all of the common pleas level, all the felony level cases, and as well as all the cases in the Geauga County Juvenile Court.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve item number 7.
Second?
Commissioner Brinkley? Commissioner Brinkley?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
I have this one. Ohio Guidestone is requesting the board approve and execute a letter of support to the Ohio Developmental Disabilities Council in support of the grant application for Pathways to Progress, community outreach and family engagement for individuals with developmental disabilities. This grant will support the expansion of their Beyond Limits program with outreach efforts and engagement within the communities and counties it serves, including Geauga County.
So this would be a new grant, is that correct?
I believe so.
I think so. I'm not sure
Okay.
if it's a continuation or new.
Okay. Well, I mean, it says an expansion of the program, so that seems like this would be money beyond what we've gotten in the past. And so then my question is just that if this grant goes away, then what happens to this position that's being created?
I can't speak.
We don't know anything about that.
I thought Kim Brown would be here this morning.
Is she coming later, or? We don't know.
I don't know.
We don't know.
And is this time sensitive too?
No, I think we can look into next session if we need to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all about clawing as much money for Geauga County from the state and the feds as possible, but my only concern is if we create a position, we create a program, what happens if that funding goes away? What's the plan?
Sure.
Okay, I'll reach out to her and let her know the questions ahead of time that she can come to next session.
Okay. Or just, I mean, that's my only question, so if she just wants to email a response, that would be okay too. So I'll make a motion to table item number 8.
Second?
Aye.
Yes.
Morning.
Morning.
So that's this? All right.
Yeah.
good.
It's like I'm looking at trying to.
I'm actually, if I may, I'm going to hand out some updates here.
Oh, new papers.
Well, they're just, it's the same one, I just added the engineering cost so you get to see the entire project as opposed to. Okay. This is item number 9 on the agenda, and it is regarding the masonry repairs at the annex building, specifically 215 and 219 Main Street on the back side. We had a top of the parapet was leaning, it was bulging out, and we also need to do some overall repair work to the wall, the rear wall. So just to give you a background on this, when we originally looked at this job, we estimated it to be around $100,000. The engineering costs were going to be $17,500, and the total project cost was $117,500. So that was before we had the engineering firm on board. Once we got the engineering firm on board, they went out and did an assessment, And on May 2nd, they provided us a preliminary report, and it included not only the work that we had asked for, which was the parapet repair and the updating, the tuck pointing of the masonry wall, but they had identified that the roof above that, and if you look at the two pictures that I passed out, the first one, which was page 5 of the actual proposal, shows the roof, and the roof is in very poor repair and is probably contributing to the deterioration of the parapet wall as well as the masonry wall. So
is it leaking or anything?
it had been leaking.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it looks terrible.
Yeah, I think they patched it, and
Okay.
it's probably, from what I understand, there's still evidence of moisture and leaking on the inside.
Okay.
So with that, they highly recommended that if we're going to repair the parapet wall and the masonry wall, we really need to do the roof first. Otherwise, we're not really solving the root cause of the entire problem. So with that, the May 2nd report suggested that we also replace the roof for that portion of the building. And that was going to be an additional $59,500. The estimate to do the masonry repair and tuck pointing was $73,000. And that included, we asked them to paint and clean the fire escape too. That fire escape goes actually from the second floor of the Opera House over this rooftop. You can see it in the one picture. You can see the fire escape there, and then down onto the ground. And it's in really rusted condition. So they had recommended painting that and cleaning it. After a conversation with them, we had asked, if you look at the third page that I sent, which is the second picture, that's the back of the wall. And there's a lot of, over the years, there's been a lot of patchwork done to that wall. And they put in concrete
It's
instead
like a
of
quilt.
brick. Yeah, and it looks pretty bad.
Yeah.
So they also recommended doing some work to take out all of the concrete block that is, or concrete squares that are there, and to really, when they redid the brickwork, when they put in the new windows, they just put a joint straight down, and you really should tooth it in. So and so they actually suggested not only replacing the concrete, but also repairing the tooth ins there. They're also going to replace the lintels with galvanized, because right now they're rusting as well too, the ones at the top of the window. They were going to take them out and clean them, but then we had suggested turning that to galvanize. That way we don't have to have that rusting problem going forward.
I feel like you should have just circled everything on this picture. I'm like, what's going on over here? This is leaning.
Well, actually, the circles are from a previous repair that was done. This is an old photo.
Okay.
But it was the best one that we had with the cars and so forth. So with that, we asked them for a revised quote, and on May 29th, they sent us a revised quote, which included really redoing the brickwork there so that it takes out all the concrete and tooths in the joints and so forth and so on. And also and that alone was going to increase it $52,000. So in addition to that, they looked at the fire escape closer, and we cannot upgrade it because if we do, it has to be completely redone up to code. But what they can do, the grate is rusting. So replace the grates so that when you walk on it, it's more safer.
Yeah.
So that added an additional about $15,000 to the roof work if we're going to replace the grating on the fire escape. So that brought the total project to $200,000 for construction. Now I added the engineering fees in there because the roof engineering fee to do the roof is an additional $12,000, and to do the additional redesign of the brickwork, that was an additional $5,000. So the engineering fee would go from $17,500 to $34,500, which makes the total project cost, if we chose option 1 and actually went with the full design, would be $234,500.
So detailed question. with the galvanized angle iron over the windows,
Uh-huh.
we're gonna make sure there's flashing and weep holes in there.
Yes, yes, we added that to the actual final design to ensure that they added this.
And you were gonna do the masonry work,
I
Commissioner?
could do it from anywhere
Save us-
between
save us
midnight and 4 in the morning.
I mean, that's
I could do
fine.
that.
Right.
They can work on your schedule, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So the purpose of us here today is to really give you those two options. We can choose the 162 option, or we can choose the 234.5 option, which would be the full scope. And really to get your approval on the direction, so that the next step would be then we have to do a change order for the engineering for the additional work, which I did not do yet because I wanted to see if we got approval for the larger project. And if so, then we would move forward with the final design.
I don't know what your.
My thoughts,
Commissioner,
I'm
but-
leaning towards the 234.5.
I mean, I don't
Just
like
me.
spending more money, but it seems like these upgrades are essential. And if we do, I mean, I don't want more past jobs. And then in 10 years, you're coming to another, or somebody's coming to another commissioner board, right, asking for more expensive
Right.
repairs. It seems like we should think about the long term and probably make this investment now.
I mean, with the 234, we're getting so much. I
Yeah,
mean, we're getting the roof, we're getting that parapet, the leaning tower
yeah,
up there, that's getting torn down
yeah,
and then redone. The stairs are getting repainted, upgraded.
yeah,
So even that back wall, like Chuck was stating, it's just every time we look at this, it's like, okay, well, this could affect this and this could affect this.
Yeah.
Yeah, a roof job should be a roof job and tuck pointing should be tuck pointing, but it all ties in with one another, especially on this one. And that's why we've been going the extra step and everything. So Chuck has really been working with the engineer and getting out there and pulling me in the meetings and going through it and trying to really keep me on track on this all with everything else going on. So, but
no, I mean, when you look at these pictures and you can see
yes.
that it's structurally unstable, that is a huge deal. I mean, I remember, like, I have an engineering degree myself, and they told us, like, if you ever see a bridge leaning, get off the bridge, you know, like, if you can start to see that destruction,
Right.
like, you're in bad shape. So I kind of feel like we're in that bad shape that we really need to be making these sort of investments.
And with this is
recently.
way back when they replaced the windows, you know, the older windows had the steel in it.
Yeah,
So we go the cheap way and we leave the steel in the brick and everything. And then that rust and everything, and that's what's causing a lot of these problems here.
yeah,
So at one time, yeah, going the cheap way of just putting it in instead of tearing it all out and redoing it. All right, now this is where we're at, and we're
Yeah.
trying to go the correct way. So
no, I mean, I appreciate the idea of saving money, certainly, but it feels like this is a time we need to make that investment. I really appreciate your presentation, Chuck. You spent a lot of time on this. It's very detailed. Excellent work.
Thank you.
I make a motion that we go for the 234.5 and proceed with this project.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Brackey?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you. You all have a good day.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Nick Orris, Water Resources. First item on the agenda is requesting permission to request grant permission to advertise for bids for our fuel and fuel tank provider for the department fuel systems. In the past, our provider has been willing to stay under state bid, and as this year said, it's not going to be able to happen with fuel volatility. So we're going to put it out to bid. It's pretty similar to what we've done, the department has done in the past. So we'll post it in the paper and on the website and open for bids.
All right, I'll make a motion to approve item number 10.
Second?
Commissioner Brackey?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Item 11 on the agenda, a little bit different, requesting the board acknowledge receipt and accept the proposed updates to the Geauga County Facility Planning Area Boundaries as part of the NOACA's 5-year update process. It's following up with the Clean Water 2020 Act and the Ohio EPA requirement, every 5 years, each of the 5 of the counties in the MPO need to update their facility planning areas. We went and took the document that was originally started in the 90s, had some areas that were generalizations where they expected growth. Things of Seward, not Seward, maybe Seward, and future planning 20 years down the road. When we did the update with NOACA, when they identified it almost 18 months ago, we pulled up and we just started going through every account that we have on the system. It was a good exercise for the department. We found some accounts that weren't being billed. We found some accounts that might have been billed. It just cleaned up the entire system. We have also during this have taken out the future planning, the 20 years and beyond. We've taken that off of our system as our wastewater treatment plants have so much capacity and we don't see the growth right now. I don't see, because of the rural nature, if we were more municipal, the villages, we might see the expansion like Middlefield is seeing with the growth in the house.
Right.
We don't have that so much in the Geauga County FPA. Part of the process, we also worked with the other DMAs that are within the Geauga County boundaries, City of Salem, City of Aurora, Sugar Grand Falls, Middlefield, Burton, Chardon. Worked with all of them to ensure our boundaries matched, to ensure that what as Geauga County was processing, it wasn't a combination of confusion. So a lot of hard work, a lot of efforts, a lot of coordination.
How long did this process take, Nick?
Well, when it was identified for us, we focused our beginnings in Bainbridge, our largest area. So we started back in, I'm going to say 18 months ago with Bainbridge.
Yeah.
Slowly. It kicked off fully with NOACA first of this year.
Okay.
So a 6-month process. Usually this is being approved at the end, almost in the last session board meeting of NOACA. The board will see this in September.
Okay.
So it was in NOACA's schedule. It was actually brought up at the Water Quality Subcommittee this past Friday. So the Water Quality Subcommittee has reviewed it and recommended it to be moved to the board for approval and acceptance, and then it goes to the EPA for final approval and adoption. So.
Okay. So as far as the process goes, you came up with this, and then you give it to NOACA. How much input does NOACA have? In the plan?
They're going to reach out to us and, for the realistic, right? So they can look at it it's a planning document.
But at
really,
this point, there's NOACA hasn't had their fingerprints on it?
We've worked together. They've actually done the GIS mapping to update theirs in concert with, they're doing a review and they're working with the other DMAs, like with Aurora.
Right.
It's not our DMA, so there's some coordination back and forth saying, is this Geauga County's? Should this be Aurora's? So in that involvement, NOACA did more involvement with the other primary DMAs within the area.
Yeah.
But basically, they took our spreadsheets for our areas, and that's what's being adopted.
Okay.
It's not them saying, do this.
Nope.
This is ours.
That's what I was getting at, is just seeing that you agree with this plan. Right.
I do.
Yeah.
We basically, everything that is in here came from our department, our audit, and the way that we've gone through it. We're actually going to be presenting our methodology that we use, Geauga County, in the roundtable that NOACA is doing tomorrow. It's a webinar.
Yeah.
So we'll be presenting how we did our process because
great.
NOACA was impressed with our data management. We took it down to each individual parcels and again, being a young department now, it was a good exercise for us to not only update our account information, but to ensure the document that is available to the public is realistic.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's not pie in the sky. We went down anywhere there's a gravity sewer. If there's a parcel in front of it, it's now maybe sewer if it wasn't connected.
Yeah.
It wasn't a guess.
Factual information.
It's way us engineers like to work, right? We want it to be facts. So
Black and white.
right.
That's
So
what I like.
so this is again just there's no monetary value put on this. There's no money being expended. It's a planning document. In normal process, if this was to be expanded, say a house outside of this. It's not on a gravity that wants to extend. Process is totally different. It requires township. We want township or affected jurisdiction buy-in, and then we bring it to the commissioners for fully expanding that facility planning. This is just making what currently is out there
Yeah,
accurate.
yeah, so there's no controversy.
No controversy.
Just, it's what it is.
So,
All right, well, that was a great description. I'll be honest, I read through this and I'm like, I don't really understand what's going on. I don't know if it was the heat or what, but that was
there's
helpful to hear
there's-
you talk about it.
there's a lot of information, and again, it's a planning document, it's a guide document, maybe a economic growth. We're looking 20 years and the business was looking to come in, they're going to say, hey, is there sewer available?
Right.
You know, we'll be developing something similar to this with our water systems, just to be able to show where our water facilities are too, on the
Okay.
heels of this one. It's not a requirement, but we will be doing that with our water, just to make it available to any industry or somebody looking to say, hey, where is water right now? So,
That's helpful. All right, I'll make a motion to approve item number 11.
Second?
Commissioner Brackey?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
all right, and then item 12 on the agenda is just following along with other departments and helping Ms. Blair clean out the drawer. Some old performance bonds that are no longer required to be held, so requesting to release the bid performance bonds for the following projects, including SET Incorporated for the Bainbridge Sewer Main Realignment Project, Viking Payment LLC for the water tower painting improvements, and for Woodford Excavating for the Bainbridge Waterline Extension Loop Project.
I move to approve.
Second?
Commissioner Brackey?
Aye.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Here today with Mara McLean. She is our account executive from Sedgwick to discuss the group retrospective rating program and the 2026 plan agreement. Additional handout.
And you are?
Oh, and I am Kathy Hostetler, and I work for the Geauga County Commissioners.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Mara McLean, Sedgwick TPA, here to discuss Geauga County's workers' compensation program. The handout that I just gave you folks, the very first page, I'd like to highlight a few things. Sedgwick TPA is the largest TPA in Ohio. We administer workers' compensation programs, in particular group rating, group retro, individual retro, and we even have some self-insured clients here in the state of Ohio. The County Commissioners Association of Ohio partners with Sedgwick TPA to offer the members of the County Commissioners here in Ohio the group retro program or the group rating program. There's about 80 counties here in Ohio that utilize Sedgwick TPA, and you can see they're all marked with an asterisk. Those are Sedgwick TPA clients. And over in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see group rating. There's about 7 here in the state of Ohio that get group rating with us. Group rating is a upfront discount program off of your workers' comp premium that you pay to the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Comp. Group retro, which is what Geauga is in, is a rebate program. It's a performance-based program based on the claims incurred that year versus the premiums paid to the Bureau for that year. And the goal of the group retro program is to have as few claims as possible to pay the Bureau this premium, but to keep your claims down so that you get rebated back some of that premium. That's the goal. Individual retro, there's a handful of those folks here in Ohio. Experience rated, meaning they're not in any type of group program. And then lastly, self-insured. Here in Ohio, you're either self-insured, you're kind of like your own little mini Bureau of Workers' Comp, or you're part of the state fund, which is what you folks are. And in the state fund, imagine a 3-legged stool with workers' comp. You've got the Bureau of Workers' Comp, you pay your insurance premium to them. The second leg of the stool is the MCO, the Managed Care Organization. They're the neutral medical managers of all your workers' comp claims. They make sure that your folks get medically taken care of and back to work. And then the third leg of the stool is the TPA, third-party
Stool's on its
administrator.
side.
Pardon?
Your stool's on its side.
Yeah, yes. Three-legged stool.
Yeah. You throw it, go.
It's the only way that I can keep it straight, yeah. So the TPA, we are the employer advocate. You pay us an annual administrative fee, and we help mitigate claims costs, helping the employer, and we also help you get into some type of group program to either get an upfront discount off your premiums or get a back-end rebate in group retro, okay? So going to the second page, let's get into the weeds a little bit more. Here in Ohio, the very top chart there on the second page is your EMR history for the past 5 years. EMR stands for Experience Modification Rate. Folks, it's a very, very important number. The lower the number below 1.00, the better. When you are above 1.00, that's bad news. That means you're penalty rated, your EMR is penalty rated. When you're below 1.00, like Geauga County is, over on the left, you'll see right now for the 2025 rate year, your EMR is 0.67. That is phenomenal. That is excellent.
What was going on in 21?
Yeah, it was a bad year. You know, sometimes if you just have one really bad claim, those claims stay on your experience for 4 years. You're carrying that. And, you know, what we want is we want the claims that are fixed and not non-fixed claims, because the fixed claims don't add to your reserve. But in 20, I can remember some of the claims back then. They can stay on if people are going back to the doctor. Uh-oh, now they need surgery. That adds to the reserve. And so your reserve keeps growing. And yeah, I mean, I've been doing workers' comp for the commissioners for, 20 years. And we were in that group rating, the group rating that she talked about. And they weren't happy with us because we were penalty rated. And so in 2010 is when we got into group retrospective. It was the inception of the program. And it was a lifesaver because we got in with other, we were right there at the ground level. And we couldn't, it was amazing. I mean, anytime you're with other counties, if you have a bad year, okay, it kind of makes up for the counties that are having a good year. And as we've gone on for the last 15 years, we have never been assessed anything through this whole program. It's really kind of been a cool journey, honestly, to go through this with all the counties and the work that Sedgwick puts into it. Tony Chirac, Lance Watkins they had many sleepless nights over this program of how it was going to work out because people were putting their trust in him. And I think that with the county, again, you have that one really bad claim, and we've had a lot of them. We've had a fatality situation. We've had claims that lasted for 4 years and 5 years until we actually get them off. So that's why.
Yes. The EMR all boils down to your claims incurred. Did you come in under budget? What was your budget for claims that rating year versus what was the actual incurred claims versus your budget? So in Mara language, you want to have fewer claims dollars than what the Bureau expected you to have. For example, for 25, your budget for claims for the 25 rate year was $388,000. You folks only came in at $111,000. So you came in way under budget. That's why your EMR is 0.67. It's a very complex calculation on how they come up with that EMR, but the bottom line is claims incurred versus what was your budget. So 0.67, that's phenomenal. You're only paying 67% of the base rates. The base rates here in Ohio, every single manual class code has a base rate. You folks obviously have the county code, and your base rate is like 93 cents per $100 of payroll. So you're only paying 67% of that 93 cents. That's phenomenal. If your EMR is 1.50, That's bad news. You're paying 150% of that 93-cent base rate. Okay. So that's EMR.
And another thing about this program, we all pay our own premiums based on that
Yes.
EMR.
Yes.
Okay. So all the 59 counties that are in this are paying their own premiums. But then the program itself, they're doing a 3-year evaluation. So for 2024 claims, you get a 12-month evaluation at the end of 2025.
Correct.
And then you get a second evaluation at the end of 26, a third evaluation, and final evaluation at the end of 27. And they're looking at the whole pool.
Yes,
They're looking
everybody.
and you get rebates based on that. So we do quarterly meetings and teams meetings, and Tony is always explaining all of this, and we are always seeing where we are in the program. So that's really the basis for group retrospective, would you
Yes.
say?
Correct.
Yeah.
It's a performance-based program of the whole group. The goal of the group is to keep your claims down compared to your premiums paid to the Bureau. In MARA language, you pay the premium to the Bureau, and then the group retro rebates. If everybody overpays the Bureau all this premium, and everybody kept the claims down, the Bureau doesn't use this money, they rebate it back to you. And what Kathy was referring to was these rebates trickled back over a 3-year period. For example, just in April of 25, a few months ago, you got a rebate back from the 21 rate year, the 22 rate year, and the 23 rate year. The Bureau does these 3 evaluations to figure out how much money should we give back to each county in the group, or heaven forbid, should there be an assessment. The assessment, don't let it scare you,
Right.
is, and you folks haven't had one, is when everybody has more claims in the group than you all paid the Bureau in premium. So you have to make up that difference. It's called an assessment.
So how does it work if you're self-insured?
Oh, totally different animal, totally different animal. It's like being your own little special Bureau workers' compensation.
Yeah.
You do have to put in applications, you have to meet like a credit score. There's all kinds of,
Because it seems like we're overpaying and then we get a refund.
that's group retro. Yes.
I mean,
that's-
I'd rather just not overpay.
I know.
Yeah, well, in years 2018
Yeah.
and 2019, the reason we got no refunds back is because they did the $1 billion back
Yes.
deals, if you remember. So the state actually reimbursed us totally for what we paid out in 2018 and 2019, so you can't get a rebate on. They gave us everything back. There was no rebate. But
Yeah. Self-insurance is a totally different animal. I'd be happy to run a study and just for giggles to do a comparison. Yeah, just to see what it's like.
Because I mean, it seems like you're rising or falling with the group, right? And then, so
Correct.
how do you screen counties, or if they want to be in that they're in?
We look at your losses, we look at your EMRs. Oh yeah, we've got criteria.
Because if
Absolutely.
you're like a bad boy,
Exactly.
you shouldn't
We're
be in
not
the
gonna,
group, right?
yeah.
Okay.
you have to follow criteria. You
Yes.
have to have a safety committee. You have to follow criteria, do transitional work so that everybody is on the same page. And of course, here in the county, one of the reasons that EMR is where it is because all of the people in this county, all of the elected officials, directors, and supervisors do an excellent job in managing their workers' comp. I mean, we do trainings, they participate, we have the program where we're looking at claims as well as payroll, not just payroll. It's the payback program. And so we have a lot of interest from all of our people and our employees too. I think we do a decent job of talking about safety. I know a lot of the departments are talking about, they're having their staff meetings and things.
Do we participate in a local safety council?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so I saw we could get a 3% discount.
Yep,
for that.
I do attend that. It's once a month, and yeah, they raised it from 2% to 3%. So it's that's a really good program as well. The more information we have, the safety committee goes out after we have our meetings and dispenses the materials that we talk about, and we have a very active and very astute county that cares about safety and does the right things. But like I said, one really bad claim.
Yeah. and it could make your EMR go right up.
And that's what scares me about self-insured, because we've had some really bad claims. So, yeah.
Agreed. So the rest of this chart on the second page goes into the rebates historically that you've received. Down at the bottom, I highlighted lower right-hand corner, 1.5 million are the total group retro rebates that Geauga County has received since participation back in the 2010 rating year. And one thing I'm sure you'll notice here on the left-hand side, gee, Mara, why have some of the rebates gone down over the years? You know, back in the day, 176,000 all the way down to say 97,000. There's a few things, and you'll notice in the center column, your premium history. Geauga's premiums have actually gone down over the years. That's good. That's a factor of many things. There's, of course, reduced claims, but then also the Bureau has reduced base rates, okay? But as far as the group retro rebates, why they've gone down, in simplest terms, group retro, and it's not us, and it's not you folks, it's the Bureau. Group retro has changed over since 2010. They have brought down base rates, they have brought down expected loss rates and limited loss ratios, which are very funny actuarial numbers that are used to come up with your budget, okay? Those have come down. They've also applied loss, they've changed the loss development factors with group retro. Those are the factors that are used to figure out how much money you should get back as a rebate. Like I've mentioned before, the base rates have come down, and then of course the new reserving system. The reserves here in Ohio are set by the Bureau. They used to use the MIRA, M-I-R-A reserving system. Then they changed it to the ACES reserving system, which makes the reserves higher. The reserves are kitties of money set aside for future expected costs in the claim. The Bureau sets them. We don't. Okay. So that's why you'll notice over the years that the rebates have gone down. So point being, bottom right-hand corner, 1.5 million is the total that you've received over the past, 15 years. The last page, folks, goes into 2026. Group retro is an annual program where you have to renew every year. And as your TPA for the 2026 rate year, we are projecting Geauga County to be at a 0.65 EMR, upper right-hand corner. That's phenomenal. It's lower than where you're at now. Then the premiums are estimated at about $235,000. This center box right here, you'll see the estimated refund range with the graph, the chart, and you'll see my scribble down here at the bottom. Target refund for 26 is approximately 20%. So our group retro target for 26 is a 20% rebate. It could be more, it could be as high as 62.85, but we are very conservative, we're realistic. We go right at about a 20% rebate for target. The max assessment over here to the right is 5%. I'm very excited to say that the Bureau brought the assessment percentages down. They used to be 20, 25, 30%. 5% is the max assessment.
So 5% of what?
It's 5% of your premium of
Okay.
the 235.
So that was one of my questions, is like, what's the worst?
Yep, the worst
we
case,
could get? Yeah.
235, pay the 235. There's no escaping paying the premium. But then an additional 11,777 is worst case.
Oh, I see that now.
Yep.
But honestly, you probably even wouldn't have to pull money out of your pocket because you're always getting those rebates from
Exactly.
varying years. So even if this one, that wasn't so good that year, they're going to just take it out of the following evaluation.
Yep.
So I think that's how it's been for most counties.
Yes.
I don't know that people have really had to pull something out of their
Correct,
pocket.
yes.
Mhm.
Because you might get a negative for the 1 year, but then get money back for the other two.
Right.
So the other two kind of take out the assessment.
Right.
So the group retro rebate, targeting at about 47,000, max assessment at 5%. The deadline to renew is July 25th. And Kathy has all the appropriate paperwork.
Thanks for you.
And that is a crash course in workers' comp group retro. Are there any questions?
I think I got it online.
Does BWC give guidance or classes to, settings like this. So we can lower our rates and make it safer than what it is already safe now.
You folks are doing a phenomenal job. Bar none, hands down. Kathy and Megan are managing the claims very well. You folks are very safety oriented. Yes, the Bureau does offer free courses, even online. They even do webinars and in-person training to do that. Even Sedgwick TPA does, and Sedgwick MCO offers training as well. I simply put, I don't know if you could get any better than what you folks are doing right now with a 0.65 EMR projected for next year.
And, we put all that information out, as far as, especially with like our maintenance department, I know water resources, the engineers, they do an awful lot of training. The Bureau, even in Corsa University, there's a lot of safety in that training as well. So people are aware, I hope, and I believe, and I think that's really one of the reasons why we've seen fewer claims. People getting, supervisors, directors getting their employees back to work, because as soon as you are out of work over that 8 days, it becomes a lost time claim, and that increases your reserve, and it creates a lot of other issues in the workplace. And we have seen definitely a decrease in all of that. So, but next year, you just never know. Accidents happen. That's why we have this insurance, and it could be a monster, but rest assured we will handle it as best that we can. But some of them are just really, really complicated claims. So right now we're just like skating a little bit. So
Agreed.
yeah.
Good. Okay.
Thanks
Excellent.
thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
Slight adjustment, down to 14 is for January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Oh, I was
And then
wondering.
not to exceed amount of 11.5.
Okay.
Yeah, and that 11.5, do you want me not to say anything about
No, I just
Okay.
said not to exceed 11.5.
Yeah, that's just for the administrative fees, for CCAO. They really haven't hit 11.5 to my knowledge, but our assistant prosecutor wanted something in there, and that's just based on claims for that year. So, okay, so
So how are we billed then?
we pay is Adrian here? No, I believe he just pays CCAO. It's kind of interesting because they're
But
paying them.
based on what? Because you're saying you don't know what it's gonna be.
Well, it can't exceed $11,500.
I understand that, but
Mhm.
how would we know what we're gonna be billed?
You can't, because it's based on the claim
Okay,
cost.
so that's the
Yeah.
answer. So it's based on how many
Very.
claims and the complexity. Is it like an hourly rate?
No, it's just kind of a
I
flat
think
rate.
it's flat, but
Mhm.
it's
Okay,
the
per
claims.
claim?
Right.
Correct. The claims
Okay.
impact the amount to CCAO. Yes.
That's like the type of claim.
Yeah, like if it's a lost time claim and things of that
Okay.
nature, it's based on the claim.
Where does it factor in
experience.
how many employees does this county have versus another county?
I'd have to look into that.
I mean, probably just the amount of claims, right? If we have
Right.
more, if someone has more employees or have more claims.
And we cover everyone, from the minute an employee comes first day, they get in an accident, and day 2, they're covered under workers' comp immediately. So we have, and that's our seasonals, part-time, everyone that is employed here at the
So don't hurt yourself when you're doing that.
That masonry work.
I'll be careful.
Where you're,
I mean, I would like to see though what this would look like if we did self-insure. Just
Sure.
For my
Yeah, I can run a study.
general
Absolutely.
information.
Absolutely. In my opinion, I think you'd be still better off to stay in group retro, but I'd be happy to crunch the numbers so you can do side by side.
Did you want to read 14?
The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and authorize the President of the Board to execute the Geauga County Commissioners Association of Ohio Workers' Compensation Group Retrospective Rating Plan Agreement with the CCAO Service Corporation for the period January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026 in an amount not to exceed $11,500, and further execute the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation Employer Statement for Group Retrospective Rating Program Enrollment Form.
So when do we have to make this decision? It doesn't start till next year.
oh no, we have to make the decision like now. We have to get it into the Bureau, by the 25th, that we have to get it to.
Of this month, like tomorrow?
Yeah, like, no,
No,
not
July.
tomorrow, July.
July.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was like,
Um,
good
yeah.
gosh, okay.
Yeah, so we have to get it, we send it to them at the beginning of July to CCAL.
Okay, so do I have time to look at what self-insuring would look like before?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then I'm gonna move to table item number 14.
Second?
Commissioner Brinkley?
Okay.
Commissioner Webb?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Morning.
Right.
I'm Wendy Anderson, who is the president of the Geauga County Agricultural Society, also known as the Great Geauga County Senior Fair Board. Keith Chapman, our vice president, is back here as well, and you are getting information from Meg Noah, our illustrious secretary of the fair, and she's going to speak about a lot of what we've been doing, which has been very busy.
Sorry, I'm giving you guys all the goodies. We have a calendar for our newest. Okay. Good morning. So I handed out your OFMA passes for the commissioners that will get you into any Ohio fair, including the Ohio State Fair. I did not bring you a list of fairs, but they are on the ohiofairs.org if you want to look, and I can also drop off the list if you need it. Your email.
It's in the book.
Oh, you're right.
Former fortune, like.
You're right. I forgot.
You get a long book.
And there it started.
But-
Lots of pages on this thing.
But the number one question is, what are the flavors at the milkshake booth?
Oh.
What day?
Yeah, that's the secret until like right at our fair.
Reveal on social.
Exactly. Yeah, we can't reveal yet. So
He doesn't know yet.
I don't know if you were following our Facebook recently, but we did have the flash sale this past weekend. It ended yesterday, last night. So it was pretty successful. We sold about I don't know, I didn't get the final numbers, but we're around 7,000 pre-sale tickets. So we're excited. Good turnout.
Are you gonna do the sale over the 4th too, or is
No.
That's it. Okay.
That was it. We moved it because so we go on New Day Cleveland to promote the flash sale, and doing it right at the holiday weekend is very difficult to get on TV. So we moved it this year hoping we would get, we wouldn't confuse too many people, but we'll see what happens.
I feel like I'm already confused. I thought there were 2 opportunities.
I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
that's all right.
So, I mean, we might be able to ask the board if, people are really upset with us, but yeah, so that was great, but we still have advanced sale tickets on sale, $8 to get in, up until like the day of the fair. And then we have the 5 for $35 that you can get at local banks or at the fairgrounds or online.
Is it 35 or 45?
45 is membership.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you'll see in your packet a little invitation to the ribbon cutting. We know it's not during the week, so we're hoping maybe 1 or 2 of the commissioners can come, or all of you, but we're hoping you'll come help us cut the ribbon once the buildings go up, which the site work is pretty much done. They've poured the footers for the new poultry barn. Yesterday, I think they did those, and then the sale barn's all ready to go. It's supposed to arrive on July 1st. So
Is the construction a slab with a poured footer, or is there a footer
Yes.
and then block, or it's all?
I know. Well, I don't know. Keith?
It's going to be, it's a footer, then it's going to be 3-foot of block, 2 or 3 foot, and then the metal structure.
Okay. Thanks.
And then the poultry barn is set to arrive on July 7th. So then we have lots of work to do once we get the buildings up and ready for the fair. So we're busy on that one. And then I gave you guys a fair book. So if you want to enter, entry deadline is August 6th. So you can all get blue ribbons if you would like. And then I gave you a list of our grounds projects. I'm not going to go over every single one because it would take a long time, but some highlights are our Cook Street restroom renovation, which I know I've spoken in the past about how important it is for the Fair Board to renovate all the restrooms on the grounds. We have 5 facilities and they all look like they're from a very long time ago. It's probably just a point that we've made the last 5 years to renovate all the restroom facilities. So we did the family restrooms at Cook Street last year to allow for the access for like the ADA wheelchair accessibility to go in. They can shower, they can, you know, if there's an adult that needs extra assistance, we have room now for them to have a restroom facility where we didn't before. And now the Cook Street men's and women's side is both being renovated. So that's almost done. We're just finishing up the partitions on the women's side.
Hopefully they're a little bigger than they.
They are. Definitely bigger than a 10-year-old can fit into. So our next goal is the arena restroom renovation. So we're starting to look at that for next year, depending on how we do at fair time. So. And then another highlight is, I mean, we had several insurance claims when the storm came through. We had to do the roof, the racehorse barn. We had to fix a couple of other items. Lightning struck the office again, so we had to, we decided to move away from a server that seems to get taken out every time lightning strikes our office to a cloud system. So we worked on that for several weeks. And then we also, one of the things that we're almost finished with is the lighting on the fairgrounds, changing everything over to LED to save money on electricity. So we finished the grandstand lighting was part of the insurance claim and part of our, you know, hope for the future to get the grandstand lights fixed underneath. And so we did that, and then we also finished the parking lot. And we topped off 3 poles that were so high we needed to bring in a special bucket, or I don't even know what the kind of truck was to reach those lights. So we topped them off so that they're lower so our guys can reach them now. And everything's LED in the parking lots now. So we're pretty much done with that project. We did remodel the sheriff's building when you first drive into the fair. The sheriff's building that's right by the digital sign. We redid that for them because it was pretty bad. The floor was like caving in and the door had a gap like a foot tall. So, and then just the regular maintenance that we do around the fairgrounds with like tree removal, bush removal. We did dredge the pond in the back, the upper pond that had filled. A lot of silt had gone into it from the Berkshire school construction. So we dredged that, and then we used the clay from that pond to build the pad for the poultry barn and the sale barn. So it was good timing to get both those projects completed.
Nice.
And that, unless you have any questions about grounds projects, I know it's very exciting, but.
I'm excited about these bathrooms. I feel like those are a long time coming, right?
Well, how deep is the water going to be with the dredging of that?
It's pretty deep now. I mean, I would say it's at least 10 feet.
I was gonna say it's 10 foot.
Yeah,
I was shocked because
yeah, it's pretty deep.
I looked to see where you guys were at on the building. I saw that it was all dredged out and feed, and I was like, wow, that looks totally different.
Is the main purpose for that pond is to, during the racetrack and the horses and the cars and that, is to just water down the field so it contains the dust?
We water down the whole entire fairgrounds.
That's right.
Oh,
Right.
Okay.
That's what that pond serves as. Right. It's not the fishing.
Right.
That's nice though. And the dog diving or that, I like that too.
And then I didn't bring a whole lot for you about the multi-purpose building, but I know Commissioner Dvorak and I have spoken about the multi-purpose building project that we're working on. There's the budget and the plans. We did change the location of the building to be where the existing extension office sits, just because of the access to the road and utilities being right there. And we were told that the extension office was not in good repair, I guess. So we had that discussion, I think, with Commissioner Spitaleri a while ago. But right now, the budget sits at 5 million for the new project. So we're working on figuring out if that's something we want to move forward with, if we want to change how we see this moving forward. Obviously, your input is greatly appreciated, and anything you could do to help us.
What's your timeline on that? You don't
So
really
we
know.
have a grant from the state. We
Okay.
have 2 grants actually, and one of them is coming. We extended it to 26,
Okay.
but we really need to figure out if we're going to move
What's
forward.
the extent of that, or what's the size of that grant?
500,000.
Okay.
And then we have another grant for 250,000.
Okay.
But I don't have the deadline on that grant. I don't know if there is one.
Yeah, because I saw some county had in their state budget, right?
Right.
A pretty sizable. Do you remember how much it was?
I mean, some of the counties get a lot of money from the state for their projects. I don't know which exact one you're talking about.
I just know there was, I mean, it doesn't matter, but there was like one fair that had like a building similar to this built into the state budget, and it was like a multi-million-dollar project that it seems like it was gonna go through, so.
Yeah, so several years ago, we did get the money built into the state budget, but I think that was the 250,000.
Okay.
And then we got the grant for the 500, but the grant has stipulations, and we have to meet those, or else we have to give the money back.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're trying to, multitask with building a poultry barn and an auction barn, and then looking at building a multi-purpose building. So hopefully now that those 2 projects are almost complete, we can refocus onto the multi-purpose building and see if this is something we want to move forward with.
Okay, so then other than the grants, like the 750,000 you have in grants, what other monies do you have set aside for that project?
So we do not have,
Nothing.
we don't have the money for the multi-purpose building.
No, I understand that, but do you have any money set aside for it?
Well, so we have our capital improvements money.
Yeah.
That we, obviously depending on how our fair goes, we use the capital improvements to build new buildings and projects around the fairgrounds, like the renovations. But we also have the foundation, which we have money in, but it's not earmarked solely for the multi-purpose building.
Okay. But the foundation is supportive of this building?
I would say yes.
Okay. Do you have a specific ask in mind for the commissioners?
At this time, no.
Okay.
I just wanted you guys to understand where we were in the process, because the last time when you came to the commissioners came to the fairgrounds, we had it sitting at Merchant Hall 2, and we changed our plans, so I just wanted to make sure everyone knew where we were. So.
And every year about this time, you come in and give us an update.
Right. So hopefully I can come back in a couple of months and maybe have some more solid plans. But
Pray for sunshine.
yeah,
5 days from
we need 5 really good days at Labor
At
Day.
least one day of crazy rain. It feels like at every fair, there's like some sort of chaotic weather event on one day.
Yeah.
I know it hits us 5 days before the.
Yes.
That's true. That's probably worse, right?
Yeah,
If you get,
put all the campers in with the tractor.
Yeah.
Just have them park out by the road.
We're still welcome to come in and have a regular meeting on Thursday at the fair.
Thursday at 10 a.m. I don't think I'll be there, but
We'll get there.
the president will be there.
We'll get there.
That's the media day, so we're taking New Day Cleveland and Fox 8 and Channel 19 both come that day. So I get to do the media coverage.
bring them to our commissioners meeting. I'll be visiting the people across the greater Cleveland area.
Right. So any other questions for us?
No, I'm good. 203rd County Fair.
203rd.
All right.
Thank you for your continued support.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for coming in today. So the one thing I'm thinking about, I don't know if you thought about, is we just put that elevator in the extension building.
What are you gonna do with those units?
Well, yeah, if they're,
I think maybe you should take a tour with, maybe Glenn and Linda.
that's on my list.
Of the- Yeah.
I'm
of the
doing it in
Patterson
the
building.
next few, okay. Because I'm just concerned if we're putting improvements into that building and the ultimate plan is to level it, that doesn't really sit well with me.
Me either.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion to move our meeting for the fair?
We will do.
Okay, so that's,
And
it'll
by
be,
resolution.
got it. Okay.
Okay, I'll read the last item. Number 16, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the board grant permission to advertise for bids for furniture contractor, Geauga County Courthouse Expansion Project, to be held on Wednesday, July 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m. Notice of this bid opening will be advertised on June 27th, 2025, July 4th, 2025, and on the county website.
Do we know what's the estimate for the cost of this furniture?
I can have Linda speak to that.
What happened was last fall, a decision was made to get quotes for the furniture and have it supplied to us under state bid contracts.
Yeah.
But when it came time to actually make the purchase, the prosecutor was not comfortable with that approach and is requiring us now to go out to bid. The quote that we had accepted was about $600,000. We don't know what it'll be after we go through a bid process.
Okay.
They do have the estimate in here of $560,000 in a legal.
How did I miss it? Sorry.
It's in the legal notice.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Are we reusing some furniture from the existing courthouse and
Very little.
Very little.
A few things,
Okay.
yes. Some jury tables and I think a couple of executive desks maybe.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, because the judges have nice, like, Amish made. I know some of the judges have like Amish made furniture.
Yes, and there's
Yeah.
a discussion about that. Some of
Okay.
them are going over to the new area, some are not.
Okay. And then my other question was, I mean, furniture, there could be things that are similar that would work, right? So when people are bidding this, it has to be a certain make and model of a chair, or how does this work?
Specifications were created by the architect, so
Okay.
they will have to meet the specifications.
Okay.
Whatever those are.
All right, so can they like propose alternatives that are lower cost, or if there's availability concerns?
I guess we'll see when we see what the
Okay.
bids come in at,
All right.
provided they meet the specifications.
Oh, okay, my other question, I didn't notice this at first, but how are we advertising on July 4th? Is that a dumb question?
It's the News Herald, not make believe.
Okay,
So the paper always goes out on,
they'll have a 4th of July paper.
yes, they will have
Okay.
addition.
Got it. So I'll make a motion to approve item number 16.
Second?
Commissioner Brady?
Aye.
Commissioner Blair?
Yes. I have nothing for board discussion.
Neither do I.
I don't think I do either.
No, no.
You feel
Yeah,
good?
sure.
I don't know, sir.
You're good?
Yeah, I'm good. Just for, so when we did furniture for this building,
Mm-hmm.
there was questions that came in after the meeting that was held to do, like, there's a pre-bid meeting. There were some questions that came in about alternate items.
Okay, good,
And then
good.
they issued an addendum
Okay,
that allowed them, but I did see on here that she did include, that the alternates, that they can provide a separate line item cost on a bid sheet.
Okay.
For all alternates that are listed. So that would be like.
because that's what I'm thinking, there'd be like a lot of, where it has to be this type of stool. And they're like, well, you could also do this one and it costs $500 less. I just want to make sure there's some wiggle room in it, but I
This
mean,
is
I don't know how
also
this works.
The bid specifications.
Okay.
And it's similar to like the one we had with this building where it was a layout of the floor.
Right.
Yeah,
And then each room had specifics that were
I got
listed in here
I see.
by corresponding number
Okay.
to that.
They'll only do so much with everybody's office. It's either a right or a left where the computer should be, or this should be, where that should be. So, it's a detailed print,
Yeah,
and the sizes that's needed for everybody's desk. Okay, so that we're done with item 17, board discussion. We'll move into public comment.
Howard, South Russell Village. The fly-in at the Geauga County Airport was wonderful last Saturday. It was well attended. Many Amish were there. Many of the aircraft were there, and the EAA people and the board of the airport did a wonderful job. There'll be another program, I think, in August or September, and I'm sure it'll be as well attended as it was last Saturday. It's nice to see that Geauga County can stand up and be represented by people like the people at the board at the airport. Thank you.
Any other public comment?
Anastasia Nicholas, Chagrin Valley Times. So you talked about the bad state of that building. So how was it able to get to that point? Or is that a problem that it got to that point?
Bad state of what, which building?
When Carolyn Brakey was talking about the leaning, if the bridge is leaning,
Oh.
get off the bridge. The annex?
Yeah,
The annex building. Oh,
Yeah.
Because we had plenty of, we had lots of buildings.
This is the one at issue today.
So, I think in a matter of time, especially with that parapet wall, it was just, put on the back burner, put on the back burner, put on the back burner. But, I think going forward, we're gonna make everything, safety and health for our employees that are in every building in Geauga County. Any other questions? Or comments? Okay, with silence in the room, make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Reach it.
Anastasia, you want these pictures? No, I want that. That's why I ran for office. Even I'm just gonna take it first. I have put some notes on it. So that rip that off.
No, Chris, are you thinking about going to self-insurance?
I like to. Yeah, I know. Like, so we convert. I mean, we can. So like for me, like she had to buy something whenever I can. That's and then waiting for us. That's how I roll. Like I.